Hello friends, in this video I'm going to talk about the various strategies to clear the MRCS Part B exam. I'm going to share my MRCS journey that I've passed 2 years ago, and I'm going to share about the tips and tricks so that you can succeed in your first attempt. So let's start by knowing about the different intercollegiate exams. See, you can appear for the Part B exam irrespective of which college you have appeared your Part A exam from. The final MRCS diploma that you will be awarded will depend on the Part B exam, depend on the college you pass your Part B exam from. So you can pass your Part B exam from Edinburgh, England, Glasgow, and Ireland. But the problem with Ireland is we don't have any center of Ireland in India. Most of the candidates are from Edinburgh and England colleges because they have a lot number of centers and they held their exams more frequently in India and in most of the countries compared to the other two colleges. For Ireland, unfortunately, we don't have any center till now in India. Now, let us see about the eligibility criteria. Now, you must have passed the Part A exam within 7 years. You have to appear for the Part B exam within 7 years of passing the Part A exam, and there has to be maximum of 4 attempts for this exam. So once you are eligible for this exam, you can register for the exam in their official website. And once you register for the exam, you will get the hall ticket. This is my hall ticket that I got about 3 weeks before the exam. This is the only document that you're allowed to carry inside the exam hall, and you need to paste a passport size photograph before you go to the examination hall. Now, let us see about the exam pattern. There are a total of 18 stations in this exam, and each station is about 20 marks each. There are some changes in the exam pattern introduced, but overall the crux of the exam remains the same. The exam pattern basically includes 18 stations along with 2 rest stations, and so overall stations becomes 20, and each station is of 20 marks, so overall examination marks becomes 360. There has been some changes in the exam pattern recently. There is a video on the changes in the exam pattern. You can click on the link and see the changes. Now, what are the basic examination pattern? Basically, the exam is divided into 2 groups. One is the applied knowledge and second is the communication and clinical skills. The applied knowledge basically includes 8 stations and each station is of 20 marks, so total of 160 marks. It includes 3 stations on anatomy, 2 stations on surgical pathology, and 3 stations on critical care. I'm going to talk about individually each station. Now, let's see what about the communication skill station. There are a total of 10 stations, out of which 4 are clinical skill examinations, where you need to perform examinations on the actors or the patients. And this history taking stations, when you take history from an actor regarding some scenario which might be given. Communication stations, when you need to give information, you need to talk to the patient, or you need to talk to an actor about the clinical scenario that will be given. And procedure skill station, where you will be asked to perform some procedure. Let's see each of them individually. Let's see what is the basic cutoff percentage for this exam. There are 160 marks in the knowledge station and there are 200 marks in the clinical skill station. So you need to pass both the group individually, and the cutoff percentage is around 65 to 70%. This is my ASCII result, and this, as you can see, they have assessed the result individually for both the knowledge and the skills. You need to pass them individually. The cutoff percentage for the knowledge section is around 110 to 112 marks, which comes out to be around 65 to 70%. And for the skills station, it comes out to be around 130 to 132 is the pass marks. Once you know the cutoff percentage, let us see the various study materials. Now, regarding anatomy, I would recommend you to stick to the basic undergraduate books that you would read in your undergraduation, like this. And you must also go through this Clinical Atlas of Human Anatomy by Macmillan, because there are various images which are picked up from this and you need to identify the structures. So you must go through this atlas because this is a very high yielding book. Next, regarding the pathology, they will ask you questions from basic surgical pathology, and they can ask you from basic endocrine, like they can ask you from pheochromocytoma. They can ask you questions from bone tumors like osteosarcoma. There might be scenarios from metabolic bone disease. There might be scenarios from skin tumors, or they might ask you from thyroid cancer or goiter. There might be questions from kidneys, like they might ask you pathology of renal cystic disease, or they might ask you from renal cell cancers. They might ask you from breast tumors, as well as they might ask you from genitourinary system. So you must be knowing the basics of surgical pathology, because there will be a lot of questions from there in the pathology stations. and you will get around 9 minutes time to answer the questions. So the time will never be a shortage in the knowledge skill stations. You won't find time falling short. All you have to do is be very clear, read the definitions very clearly, be very specific, and answer your questions very objectively so that you don't miss out points and you score maximum. The critical care stations, they're also basically, they will give you clinical scenarios and they might give you questions from ECG, they might give you questions from chest x-ray or CT scan, they might give you scenarios on acute pancreatitis or pneumothorax. There might be different scenarios, so you should be able to identify the basics of the ECG. It's not like that a surgeon does not read an ECG. A surgeon must be able to identify a fibrillation in an ECG. So these are the basic things they might ask you from the critical care. Again, you will be able to understand most of the things if you stay calm. You will be able to interpret the basics of the ECG and the X-rays and the CT scan, and you will be coming out with flying colors in the knowledge stations. Just stay calm and answer the questions. You will have plenty of time. Just answer the questions to the point and be very specific in your answers. Now we move ahead and let us see about the clinical skill stations. Now, regarding the clinical skill stations, let me tell you, once you enter the station, you get 6 minute time to perform the main skill, whether it's like examination, history taking, or the procedure. You get 6 minute time for that. And the remaining 3 minutes is your viva voce. So what happens if you don't perform the 6 minute procedure very confidently? If you're not able to complete the 6 minute procedure satisfactorily, you won't be confident over the next 3 minutes and you might end up losing a lot of marks. So what you do in the 6 minutes is very important, and you have to leave behind what you do when you answer the questions in the next 3 minutes. That thing should go away from your mind when you answer the questions. Now, regarding the examination stations, there will be plenty of scenarios. They can give you real patients, they might give you actors, and they might give you scenarios from cardiovascular system to respiratory system to peripheral vascular disease. Anything might be given. I would recommend you to go through the videos on the Gikimedics app, and there are a lot of videos which can be well completed within the 6 minute time. Practice a lot so that you can complete those examinations within 6 minutes. Most of the clinical scenarios which are covered in the Gikimedic app are sufficient for the exam, whether it be thyroid examination or the hand examination. Everything is important for the exam because this clinical skill stations will decide your success in the exam. You need to score maximum in the clinical skill stations because this is where most of the candidates lag behind. Now, regarding the history taking stations, I would like to recommend that again, you have 6 minute time to take the history from your patient, from the actor, and you need to be very specific. You need to practice a lot. You should be able to cover everything, including ideas, concerns, expectations. This is a video which is available in YouTube. You can click on the link and get to the video. I'll link the link in the description so that you can get an idea about the history taking station. I'm trying to upload more videos on this history taking and the clinical skill scenarios. Stay tuned to this channel and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Now, what I'm going to say next is the communication skill scenario. Now, what is basically happening in communication skill scenario? There are two stations like this. In one station, what will happen? There will be two examiners and one will be the actor. You need to go in front of the actor and talk to the actor, and you will be assessed by two examiners. One of the examiners will basically look at your communication skills, and the other examiner will look at the medical aspect of those communication. So you will be given 10 marks by each examiner, and the total marks will be decided by the sum of the 2 marks. So basically what the examiners want, you need to be very polite, you need to be very humble, and you need to be very empathetic toward the patients. Whenever you're talking to the patient, make sure that you understand the patient's problem and make sure you have a solution for that. Make sure you assure the patient and also ensure that you don't give false assurance to the patient. Everything is taken into account while your communication skill scenario is assessed by the examiners. Also, remember that this communication skill scenario can be like breaking a bad news, can be like taking consent for a surgery or for a procedure. So all these scenarios can be given. So make sure your tone of voice is also very important when you talk to the patients, when you talk to the actors there, because they are very trained actors. They appeared for the exams more number of times than you yourself, and therefore they know everything and they know where the candidates can be fooled and where they can be tricked. So make sure you don't fall into the trap. If the acts aggressive, don't raise your voice. Try to calm the actor and try to get the situation under your control. That is what the examiners will be looking at. Next, there will be another communication skills station based on the telephonic conversation. You don't have to talk to the consultant over telephone. Actually, you will be given a set of notes. You will get a 9-minute preparatory time for that. You have to go through the notes, and once you go through the notes, you will be asked to sit in front of a curtain, and the examiner will be on the other side of the curtain. You have to make notes during the 9 minutes preparatory time. When you are talking to the examiner on the other side of the curtain, make sure you are able to answer the questions, make sure you understand what the examiner is asking, and you have to say whatever you have understood from those clinical notes which was present in the preparatory station, and you have to go through them and answer the questions. So again, you have to show your presence of mind. Make sure you don't take a lot of time while you answer the question. Make sure when you go through the clinical notes, you pick up the important points from there and jot down in your note paper. The next is about the procedure skills. Now, let me tell you, there will be 2 stations from procedure skills. Usually, the stations are either based on some procedure based on mannequins, like you might be asked to do a catheterization on a mannequin. You might be asked to put an intercostal chest drain on a mannequin, or there might be procedures like suturing on a foam. So, whatever be the procedure, make sure you follow all the basic steps that a surgeon is expected to do. You must ask for consent, you must ask for local anesthesia, you must ask for allergy, and also make sure that you ask for antiseptic cleaning and wrapping. Everything should be discarded after the procedure, or you must ask for permission to discard everything properly in the respective color buckets. All these things are important because this is what will be assessed by the examiners. It's not just the skills, because stitching in a foam is not as good as stitching on a skin. So they won't be looking for the whether the knots are exactly perfect. They will be looking whether you are perfect enough to put the knot. After this, let us look into the basic tips and tricks. Now, what I would suggest, having understood the examination pattern, let me tell you, you need basically 3 to 4 months of preparation. I myself prepared around 3 to 3.5 months, and I was working in the hospital. Still, whatever time I got, I prepared. If you are in a very hectic working schedule, then you can take 6 months of preparation maximum. All you need to do is have some basic notes. The notes are easily available, Turkey and Sing notes. They will give you a basic idea about the examination, what are the questions to be asked. But the most important point about success is, remember, you should have a study partner. I personally feel that without a study partner, you cannot success in this exam. It's very difficult to be perfect in this exam unless you practice with a study partner, because you need to set a stopwatch and practice the clinical skill stations for 6 minutes. But if you are very unfortunate and you don't have a study partner, still there are multiple solutions for this. And there are some online platforms available. There are various online courses available like Turkey's online course and etc. etc. You can join an online course that they might arrange a study partner for you. All I want is practice all these communication skill scenarios, the history taking scenarios, the examination scenarios, everything. Practice them very well with a study partner so that you understand the value of time, you understand what mistakes you are making, and probably 6 to 7 times you have to practice every station before you become perfect. There will be new stations coming up subsequently in every exam. Some repeated stations, you should not be making mistakes. That's the basic take-home message. Most of us know the exam format. What you have to do to success in the exam is the strategy. You have to follow everything in a strategy. It's not that knowledge and skills, basically most of us pass in that section. Most of us are trapped in the communication skills, and that is because we lack adequate practice. So I think adequate practice is going to make you perfect. If you need any kind of suggestions, if you need Turkey notes or Sing notes, you can drop your email ID in the comment section. I will try to send you the notes as early as possible. Stay tuned to this channel. I will be uploading more videos. Subscribe to the channel. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you for watching this video.